What's going on, guys? It's Jeremy. We're out at the range, and today we're going to talk about belt or no belt when setting up your gear. So as pieces of gear become more popular, more affordable, and things kind of gain popularity through social media, a big thing that's come out of that is belts. Pistol belts, battle belts, war belts, whatever you refer to this as, this has become a lot more popular. However, a lot of people have kind of lost reason or purpose behind this belt and don't think of the pros and cons of wearing, a full-size battle belt or not doing so. So let's talk about some of the pros and cons of both and why you would do what you would do. So I have kind of started to transition away from the battle belt setup, even after years of wearing it both in the Marine Corps and then on the civilian side when I got out. And I still very much like the battle belt. By all means, it has a ton of very good purposes. However, when I start to see how my gear may be implemented, depending on what I may be doing from a civilian perspective, you kind of start to question, is a belt really necessary? So since I've gotten my Velocity Gen 4 chest rig, I've kind of started moving things away from my belt line and more towards my chest. And when we talk about this kind of stuff, guys, I'm not talking about belts as far as like the old style LBE style belts. I'm talking specifically like pistol belt styles, just so there's no confusion with that. But I've started moving gear away from my belt line and up onto my body, into my plate carrier or my chest rig. And the big reason behind this was, depending on how I may be moving or how, what type of time frame I may be trying to operate in, I might be wearing a bigger pack and I may need some sort of waist straps that come with that pack, specifically, my 72-hour sustainment pack, whatever that may be. And this belt gets in the way of that, and then it just becomes another piece of gear that I may need to carry, when most of the gear I carry on this is already on my chest rig. Another reason behind it is the belt, specifically something as bulky as this, can be kind of uncomfortable getting in and out of vehicles in somewhat of a hurry. And I already know my law enforcement guys are jumping into the comment section and talking about how they do it all the time and blah, blah, blah. That is very true. However, just because you do it doesn't mean people in other settings should not, or that you can't improve upon that. So, like I said, I've started moving away from the battle belt setup, and I'm wearing just a standard 511 belt with my drop holster, and then I bought a second dump pouch and put it on my belt line. And that's all I carry on my belt. My extra pistol mags, my handheld weapon lights, additional tourniquets, and other type of utility pouches and stuff like that, I've moved up onto my plate carrier or my chest rig. And another thing I'm trying to work towards right now is making it to where my chest rig just clips into my plate carrier instead of having a chest rig setup and a plate carrier setup. But that's not what this video is about. So, very slim, very lightweight, easier on the hips, and all of that kind of stuff. However, let's talk about the pros of the battle belt, the war belt, the pistol belt, whatever that may be. So, I pretty much kept a standard, this standard setup on all of my belts. I have 3 belts since getting off of embassy security in the Marine Corps, and I like battle belts for one big reason, and it's quick and easy to put on, and you have a lot of gear, but you don't necessarily have to be carrying around your plates or, that full chest rig or whatever it is all the time. One thing I definitely liked about Reacting was that this was super easy to put on, and I have my pistol, I have rifle reloads, I have pistol reloads. I used to have my handcuffs on here. I had my IFAK, tourniquets, dump pouch, all that kind of stuff. Now I've moved towards abdominal IFAKs and stuff like that. I don't need to carry handcuffs or anything like that. But nonetheless, a battle belt is extremely easy to put on. And if you're in a more urban environment, you may not be trying to move over longer distances, and you don't have to worry about that wear on your hips as much. This is a very good option. It gives you the ability to carry a lot more gear. Obviously, it's normally going to be a lot easier to conduct the combat reload from taco pouches or the STEC pouches or whatever it may be, these quicker mag pouches from the belt line, than it would be to get something out of a chest rig, or depending on the type of pouches you run in your plate carrier. So pros for quicker reloads normally goes to the belt. Being able to carry additional gear outside of what you may wear on your chest rig, on your plate carrier, pros go to the belt. Being able to put it on, super easy. Pros go to the belt. However, it's very bulky. And as we start to move away from this minimalist 3 mags and some chicken tenders on my plate carrier type mindset to more realistic, not necessarily a rifleman. I don't want to use that term. I'll use that term. The basic rifleman setup, that more realistic response setup. We start to get a little bit more bulky up here, and the benefits kind of start to come away from here when it comes to our slick or slim setup. Specifically, if you start getting into like things like smoke grenades and anything like that, and you really start just kind of adding on along your hips, or above your hips, I should say. So that is definitely something to consider, is how does your plate carrier chest rig setup interfere with how your belt may be wearing. That's just, you know, my food for thought, my general thought process on some of this stuff. A lot of guys get really kind of zoned into 3 mags in my plate carrier, super slim, battle belt, boom, let's go, let's kick doors kind of mindset. They don't really start to think about the sustainment method or how it may affect them moving long term. Can it be done? Can you move really long periods of time and be completely fine wearing a battle belt over top of your plate carrier chest rig? Absolutely. You 100% can. Do you need to all the time? Do you need, if you have pistol mags on your chest rig, or you have the ability to add them to your plate carrier, do you really need additional pistol mags to your belt? Do you even need a pistol to begin with? That's another question you have to ask, because if you don't need a pistol to begin with, this kind of, unless we're talking old school or even modern LBE setups, you know, this type of belt setup isn't necessarily as applicable. So that's just food for thought, guys. Really think about how your gear interacts with itself, what the purpose of your gear is, you know, what you're going to be expected to do. Can you actually do it? Because as I always say, if you can't do the things, go work out, come big, strong boy or girl. We're not discriminatory here. That's all I've got, guys. Until next time, train hard, train often.